Hey, my name is Marco. I'm a freelance data analyst, and when I'm not doing any freelance work on the side, I've been doing these forage simulations, work simulations, and I guess you could say they're like mock internships. So far, I've done four of them. The most recent one was Quantium project. This one so far has been my favorite. The others have been good. I like them, but mostly you could be doing them in Excel. This one requires you to work in either Python or R, just because the data set is so large. So I feel like it gives you more of an experience of what it's like to work in the real world. So I really enjoy this one. This one really makes you dive deep into working in Python, and then it goes into PowerPoint at the end. And I decided also to make a report in Power BI. So to get started, we're going to jump over into the Jupyter Notebook. It started off, part one was the exploratory analysis. So the project was basically a manager from a client of theirs that manages potato chips sales in this either supermarket or wholesale club, and they wanted some preliminary analysis done on their data set. And the data set covers a period of 1 year between July 2018 and June, goes to June 2019. So basically, this part one, I'll walk through it. It might be a little bit lengthy. I'll try to be as quick as possible to keep it short as possible. It gives you two data sets, one in Excel, one in CSV. And I imported, my general that I imported was pandas, numpy, and datetime. And first looking at it, this is the first data set, all the transactions. It has the date, the store number, loyalty card number, tax ID, product number, product name, product quantity, total sales. So it's me basically in the beginning just getting familiar with the data set, looking at what columns and rows I have, if there's any non-null values, or null values, I should say. These are all non-nulls. So that was good. The data types, looking at the data types, datetime, integer, object, floats. And then looking at the next data set that they give, the demographic information. They have the loyalty card number. So merging it later will be easy based on loyalty card number. They have a life stage categories, which I'll go in a bit, and a premium customer category. And basically, again, no missing values, their data types, checking that out, doing some initial viewing what type of categories there are in each. So the demographic information they have, they broke them up by the ages by like these categories. So they got retirees, old single, and slash couples, older families, young families, mid-age single, and new families. So that's how they broke it up here. Then the other demographic information they have, basically, I'm assuming this is based on income levels or budgets. They have mainstream, they have budget, and premium. So budget is the lowest income class. Mainstream is like the middle class, and premium is like the upper class. So there was no issues with this data set. This data set was pretty clean. There was nothing really for me to do. I left it as it is, and started going into cleaning and viewing the main transaction data set. First thing I noticed when I was looking at it was the product names. It's not they don't have any columns by brand, the weight. It's just all in product names, so it's all smashed in there. So we have the company names in the front, then we have the chip variety or flavor or whatever you want to call it So this was, say, for example, Cobb's sea salt, and then Cobb's sweet chili, and then the weight of the bags. So I wanted to split this up and make a brand column, make a weight column, so we could do further analysis on the chips and the sizes. So I first started off with peeling off the weight. That was the easiest. It was the last four. And then I was just looking at the value counts, pulling all the different types. And as you can see here, I had to do some corrections. Down over here, you can see the corrections that I had to do. They had some capital G's and lowercase g's that I needed to fix. One brand, they had salt as the last one. So I went back to look at it to capture the weight, because the weight was in the middle. And it's just me double checking again, making sure it's all correct. And then I stripped the front. And then I noticed also when I was scrolling through it that there was some salsa in there, Old El Paso salsa, and had to remove that because they were just looking at chips. They didn't want to look at any salsa, so just potato chips. And then it's me stripping out the names. The names had some duplicates, but I left it as is for now. I wanted to explore the daytime column. The date column, which had a timestamp on it, so it's correcting that, making a shorter date column. And going through it, I noticed that there was only 360. There wasn't 365 dates. It was only 364, so it was missing actually Christmas Day. So I had to add in Christmas Day here as well to have a full 365 days. Fix that, as you can see here. 1225 was added. Going back to the brand names, I was looking at the brand names, looking at duplicates. It had duplicates like Doritos, and Doritos again with two S's. So they had Smiths and then Smith. So there was some corrections that needed to be done with the names to group them up all together, so the data is not skewed and it's all correct. Then looking at it again, I noticed the top here, we had an outlier. This one member purchased, only did 2 purchases. As you can see here, I isolated it, and this member only made 2 purchases for $650 each time at a product quantity of 200. And the brand was Doritos. And it was once in each year, 2019 and 2018. So I was assuming that this might be some kind of business or school or daycare or whatnot. This is not a everyday customer. These are large bulk purchases for some other intention besides for a family or whatnot. So I decided to remove this outlier, and just confirming that I dropped it. It was removed, and I reset the index for it. And since it was all clean and ready to go, I merged it, merged the 2 data sets together. I reorganized the columns, kept the columns that I wanted because I had to create some additional columns to finally get certain columns that I wanted. So I got my short date, no timestamp, no the store number, loyalty card number, tax ID, life stage, premium customer, product number, brand, and then the product name, the weight, product quantity, total sales. Save the CSV. I was probably taking a break there, so I just wanted to save it just in case. And then at this point, I started graphing it and exploring it. So the premium customer count, as we can see here, mainstream had the most purchases. Budget was second, and then premium was in last. And then I was looking at the without duplicate not duplicate transactions, but duplicate loyalty card numbers. So I just wanted to capture the unique or distinct customers. So it stayed the same: mainstream, budget, premium. You can notice the difference. How that this chart is topping out at 30,000. This is probably like 29,000 and change, and here it's at 100,000. So this is like every single transaction. And then unique members by life stage. As we can see here, retirees were the highest, old single, then young single and couple, then older families, young families, mid-age, and new families is at the smallest. So this is their customer segment, their customers for this supermarket or wholesale club. So as we can see, it skews mostly to the older population, even though the young single is pretty large. If you combine the old single and the retiree and the older family, most of their population or their customer base is an older customer base for potato chip sales. And then I jumped down to the brands, charted out the brands quickly to see what that looked like. Kettle and Doritos were on the top. And I decided to look at the top 10 members or top 10 purchases by member number, and decided to look at what life stage they're part of, what premium customer group they're part of. So as we can see that older families appear the most, and then some young families, and then in the premium customer or the affluence, it's budget and mainstream. It's only one premium. And then I continued looking at life stage by total sales. As we can see, the top three dominates the total sales. This is by quantity, didn't change at all. Quantity versus sales, the groups remain the same in the same order. And this is just the average quantity of the life stage, so it's between 1.75 and 2. So the quantity bought by each segment, it is around close to almost two per each. So then we moved on. Then I moved on to average sales, which were all a little over 7, but below 8. They were all pretty close. So not much of a variance when it comes to spending by these age groups. And then looking by member type, the average sales spent by member type, there was not much difference at all. It's so tight here that I actually had to look at the raw numbers to see any difference. So they're very close. $7.25, $7.36, $7.26. So not much variation there with the average sales per customer. And the average quantity by member type I did as well. Again, it's 1.75 to 2. Not much of a variance against in there either. They're all like 1.9. Then I decided to look at how does it measure up, what type of brands per affluence or premium customer segment. How did it break out? They all broke out pretty much the same. A few changes here and there. Nothing really that stands out. It pretty much follows the same flow for each group. If you can see here, Kettle and Smiths were the top for mainstream, and Kettle and Smiths were the top for the budget, and Kettle and Smiths were the top for premium. And it pretty much follows the same format. Nothing that really stands out. The amounts are different, obviously, because of the population. There's more mainstream, and then there's budget, and then there's premium. So the numbers make sense as well. So then I decided to make a pivot table out of this and take a look at it, dividing it by the total customer count, looking at the percentages by each brand, or by dividing it and then timesing it, kind of like a percentage, but there's not much variance at all looking at the raw numbers. The biggest was Doritos. Mainstream had Mainstream here had 12, and budget, I believe that's budget on the top. Yep, budget on the top at 9.6, and then premium at 10.2. That was the biggest variance out of all of them. So not much of anything really too crazy of an interest there. I mean, you could dig deeper into it, but I decided not to, and just to keep it moving to see if there's anything that really stands out. Then I decided to look at decide to run some t-tests. The charts above, as you can tell, there was not much difference. Well, there was not much difference with these older. If you look at total sales and quantity purchased, I mean, if we look, there's no reason to compare like older and retirees and older family. They're all pretty close to each other, and there was no real reason for me to look at like older couple versus new families or anything like that with a t-test, because obviously we can tell with these variations here in total sales amount and in quantity that there is going to be a significance statistically. But I wanted to see if there's any statistic difference between like young families, young single. Pretty decent sized gap. This one's more closer to 80,000. This is a little. I mean, this is a little closer to 80,000. This one's a little bit closer to 60,000. There was no significance. There's no statistical differences that I found. So I kept going. Decided to break up the weights into a category. Wanted to see what size bag of chips that people were most likely buying. So I broke it up into four. I did some Google searching on this to see all the different sizes, what these grams translate to in bag sizes. So anything below 100 grams to me, I categorized as extra small. The hundreds I categorized as small. And then the 200 grams I made medium, and then 300 grams I made large. So the 300 grams, those are the ones that like you'll see at like Costco or BJ's or whatnot. And the mediums, like the ones that you would see, and smalls, like mostly what you would see in like a normal supermarket, like a Publix or a Stop and Shop or a Kroger's. And the extra small, like the snack size ones. So I broke that out, and that was interesting to see that the small actually was the purchase the most, then large, then medium, but it was huge difference from small to large, compared to the rest of them. I mean, the difference was really took me by surprise. I was assuming before I even looked at these numbers and graphed it, I was assuming medium was going to be the most popular, just because of the supermarkets, but actually small beat it out. But this was like the standard size bag that you would see in a supermarket, so I was pretty surprised that small beat it out. So then I have my conclusions, my preliminary notes. The largest customer type was mainstream. The largest membership group was the older population. If you combine all the older segments together, that was definitely the largest membership group. The top 10 members spent over $120 in chips a year. The top four brands were Doritos, Smith's, Pringles, and Kettle. Older individuals purchased the most chips, and then that's including all of them grouped. And then new families did the least, and there didn't appear to be any statistical significance with purchase prices with customers either life stage or membership type. And the most sized chips were small, and then large. So that basically covered the initial part one, and they wanted it as a PDF instead of the notebook. So I uploaded it, and then I went on to part two, and part two I'll cover next.